I was just informed that our country's jobs numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee.
I think they did it purposely. But even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right. That Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction and sentencing were more than warranted by the facts.
La situación de Donald Trump se deteriora en múltiples frentes. Su economía se desploma, los escándalos por sus vínculos con Jeffrey Epstein no cesan, y a nivel internacional ha sufrido reveses diplomáticos que han minado su imagen. En medio de este panorama, Trump intentó hoy un golpe de efecto desde la oficina oval para desviar la atención. Sin embargo, la maniobra resultó contraproducente. Su presentación fue confusa, su discurso titubeante y su mensaje terminó reforzando las dudas sobre su capacidad de liderazgo. Antes de analizar este episodio y su trasfondo económico, veamos el contexto que explica la tensión que llevó a Trump a esta puesta en escena. Pero antes, un pequeño recordatorio, para que si te gusta este tipo de contenido, nos apoyes suscribiéndote, dejando tu me gusta y comentando tu opinión. Vamos con la noticia.
It is nearly impossible to get more than 80 votes on something in the Senate these days. I mean, maybe if you're renaming a post office, but rarely happens. It occasionally happens, though.
Nominations confirmed. The ayes are 86. The nays are 8. The nomination is confirmed.
Okay, that was the vote just last year on the nomination of Erica McIntyre to be the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. And she was nominated by then President Biden, but she was seen as such a non-controversial choice for a completely apolitical, kind of nerdy job that she got 86 votes for her confirmation. And she had the support of many loyal Trump fans, like, say, Tommy Tuberville, the current Secretary of State Marco Rubio, some guy named J.D. Vance. Wonder what he's up to these days. What's he up to? You know, lots of things. Along with 35 other Republicans. They all voted to confirm Erica McIntyre to be the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. Now, most people were probably not following that vote at the time. I don't think we were taking it live or anything. Most people probably do not know what the Commissioner of Labor Statistics does, although if you're watching right now, you very well may by this time today. But it's actually an important and, yes, very, very wonky job overseeing the nation's economic data, which is why experienced and qualified data scientist Erica McIntyre held that job right up until today, when Donald Trump fired her in a post on his social media site. Here's what he said, quote, I was just informed that our country's jobs numbers are being produced by a Biden appointee, Dr. Erica McIntyre, at least he said she was a doctor, I suppose, the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, who faked the job numbers before the election to try and boost Kamala's chances of victory. I have directed my team to fire this Biden political appointee immediately, all caps.
Trump ha convertido los datos oficiales en un enemigo político más. Al despedir a una funcionaria con historial de respaldo de su propio partido, no busca corregir errores técnicos, sino desacreditar a cualquier cifra que contradiga su narrativa económica. Esta estrategia le permite culpar a terceros por un problema que tiene origen en sus propias decisiones. Una política arancelaria que encarece importaciones, un presupuesto que aumenta el déficit y medidas fiscales que benefician a grandes corporaciones, pero dejan a la mayoría sin alivio real. Ante la ausencia de resultados, recurre a lo simbólico, actos públicos diseñados para proyectar control, aunque en realidad expongan vulnerabilidad.
Yes, George. Thank you, Mr. President. So I called the President because I had some very good news from some new data that we've been able to put together that no one has ever seen before, and I'll just very quickly go through these. So I was telling the President that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not
Might not have been an error, that's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Whether that, you may well be right, but even if it wasn't purposefully, it's incompetence.
Right.
Más allá de la dificultad del portavoz para exponer sus argumentos, lo relevante es el patrón de distorsionar estadísticas para alimentar un relato de fraude y victimización. La idea de que los verdaderos estadounidenses se benefician mientras el resto queda fuera es un mensaje dirigido a un núcleo de apoyo específico, cargado de connotaciones excluyentes. Este discurso no busca informar, sino polarizar y reforzar identidades políticas a través de cifras descontextualizadas.
This one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great, but this chart is pretty amazing right here. All new numbers. Okay?
Un gráfico sin interpretación no es evidencia, es un recurso teatral. Lo que este momento revela no es fortaleza, sino improvisación y falta de sustancia. La población no necesita que le expliquen la inflación para sentirla. Los precios y la pérdida de poder adquisitivo son una experiencia diaria. Ninguna puesta en escena puede borrar esa realidad. Además, el intento de ocultar otros frentes críticos, como el caso de Epstein, queda debilitado cuando estos siguen apareciendo en la agenda pública, especialmente gracias a medios que insisten en investigarlo.
Was Todd Blanche sent to Florida to speak to a convicted federal prisoner who has never spoken to a federal investigator before and never testified at her criminal trial and never denied raping children at her sentencing hearing when she did speak, pleading for a light sentence. Nancy Cortez wisely asked, "So you don't know whether you came up in the conversation?" And Donald Trump said, "I don't know." Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer, who has never been replaced as Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer and presumably would immediately revert to Donald Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer as soon as Donald Trump needs one again, went to speak with Ghislaine Maxwell. And Donald Trump is claiming today that he doesn't know whether his personal criminal defense lawyer asked Ghislaine Maxwell about him or if Ghislaine Maxwell said anything about him. Some press reports already indicate, naming sources who are aware of what was discussed, that Ghislaine Maxwell said nothing that could be harmful to Donald Trump. That's already public information, and it is obvious information. It is the only reason for Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyer to go to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. His mission there was to try to extricate Donald Trump from his own personal history of friendships with two sex criminals, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The family of one of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein's victims issued a statement about the vice president's meeting. Virginia Giuffre was found by Ghislaine Maxwell in Donald Trump's spa in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. She was working there in high school. As soon as Ghislaine Maxwell saw her, she began planning to drag that high school student into the hell that awaited her at Jeffrey Epstein's house, and she did just that. Virginia Giuffre spoke of the years and years of nightmares and distrust that she suffered after what Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein did to her. Virginia Giuffre never found her balance again and took her own life just 4 months ago. Today, her family issued this statement. We understand that Vice President J.D. Vance will hold a strategy session this evening at his residence with administration officials. Missing from this group is, of course, any survivor of the vicious crimes of convicted perjurer and sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. Their voices must be heard above all. We reiterate that Ghislaine Maxwell should have remained in a maximum security prison and does not deserve the luxuries currently afforded her. The White House reporters who changed the subject for Donald Trump both times, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, came up in the questioning today, could have asked a question about that statement by Virginia Giuffre's family. Why aren't the voices of the victims being heard at J.D. Vance's meeting about the Epstein situation? That would have been a good follow-up question to the two good questions that were asked today. But the rest of the White House reporters wasted their opportunities to question Donald Trump exactly as he expected them to do. Donald Trump said the magic word today about the Epstein situation. He said it's a hoax. That's the magic word that Donald Trump has been using for years since it was exposed that Russia was helping the Trump campaign in 2016. And that is what Russia did. That is what Vladimir Putin did. They worked on one side of the presidential campaign to help one candidate and hurt the other. And that is what the Mueller investigation found and proved. And Donald Trump has been calling that a hoax ever since. And that has always been proven true. That is really what happened, but he calls it a hoax. And Donald Trump calling it a hoax worked. It worked with most of his followers. Donald Trump believes the word hoax is like a drug that he can administer to his followers so that they will then swallow anything else that he says after that word hoax. And it hasn't worked yet with every Republican member of the House of Representatives when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Some of them still want to know what's in the Epstein files, and some of them will get repeated opportunities to make that clear in votes in the House of Representatives. Our first guest tonight has just introduced a resolution in the House of Representatives opposing a Trump pardon for Ghislaine Maxwell or a Trump reduction in sentence for Ghislaine Maxwell. The resolution, quote, affirms that Ghislaine Maxwell's conviction and sentencing were more than warranted by the facts, and any receipt of a pardon, commutation, or other form of clemency by Ghislaine Maxwell would deny survivors the justice they deserve and formally opposes the granting of a pardon, commutation, or other form of clemency to Ghislaine Maxwell.
El vínculo de Trump con figuras claves del caso de Epstein sigue siendo un riesgo político y judicial. El uso repetido de la palabra farsa para descalificar cualquier acusación es una estrategia que le ha funcionado antes, pero que en este contexto enfrenta mayor resistencia, incluso dentro de su propio partido. Algunos legisladores republicanos buscan que los archivos completos se hagan públicos y se oponen a cualquier intento de clemencia para Maxwell. Estos movimientos indican que el tema no desaparecerá por decreto ni por omisión mediática. En este escenario, la imagen de un Trump dubitativo y dependiente de recursos vacíos como gráficas sin explicación es más que una anécdota, es un síntoma de un liderazgo que ya no controla la narrativa como antes. Y mientras la economía y los escándalos convergen, la capacidad del presidente para desviar la atención parece cada vez más limitada. Aquí les genero una pregunta a ustedes. ¿Cuánto impacto crees que tendrá el deterioro físico y discursivo de Donald Trump en su base electoral? ¿Hasta qué punto la presión por la apertura de los archivos Epstein puede afectar su mandato? Y por último, si valoras este tipo de videos, te invitamos a suscribirte al canal, dejar tu me gusta, comentar tu opinión y compartir este video para que más personas accedan a información verificada y contextualizada. Nos vemos en el siguiente Rumor de Estado.